in the gym from 6 a.m. Must be a sea day. This morning was quite an interesting wake up because we sailed into the bit of a storm. So the ship was shaking quite a bit. As you can see from the pool, the waves were a bit crazy. But people were a bit early up this morning because of the shaking. But I'm up this time of morning every day, so it was no different for me. So it's sea day numero uno. So far it's been quite a good day. I got up, went for a walk around. We actually hit the storm that's been around the coast this morning at about 5:30 a.m. So I woke up and the ship was shaking quite a bit, which was quite nice actually. I liked it. It was like being rocked in the bed. That sounded weird. But I got up 6 a.m. as I normally do because I'm crazy. Got into my gym gear and headed up to deck 17 to do a walk around the promenade. Deck 18 doesn't open till 7, so I couldn't go up and do that straight away. So to start with, I just did a few laps around there, but then at 7 o'clock, I went up to deck 18 to do the promenade, because they have a little marker there that's 7 laps of deck 18, because it's only like a half deck, is 1 mile. So I thought, okay, I'll dedicate myself to doing 1 mile before breakfast and 1 mile after. And I did. But the fun fact is it was very windy, and so I feel like I got off easy because parts of it I was being blown around rather than walking on my own volition, but I'll count it as a win. So yeah, did that. I had a selection of things for breakfast, some meats and cheeses. I had some granola, which was quite nice because it had banana in it. Also had some fresh fruits and a nice Greek yogurt. So I tend to get a little bit of everything, bit of fruit, bit of yogurt for protein. Try and get as many flavours as I can, and the buffet is great now with the self-service gone, because it just means that they'll just put all these different things on your tray, and you'll feel very much taken care of. Had a light breakfast of fruit, yogurt, granola, cheeses, hams. Sort of very continental breakfast, but without the carbs, because carbs equals evil for me. And yeah, I still hadn't had coffee at this point, so that was the next thing to remedy. So I went down to Java, which is the coffee shop on deck 7, and had myself a nice almond milk latte from the Costa there. A bit disappointed, actually. I found it very, very milky. I know it's a latte, before anyone says anything, it's going to be milky. But you couldn't really taste the coffee, and I have Costa lattes a lot at home, so I'm used to them being stronger. It was very white, very milky, not so much espresso, which was a bit of a shame because it does charge extra. It was £2.80 to have a coffee, and I actually enjoyed my filter coffee from the buffet more. So yeah, after that, after a bit of a walk around, headed to the Solo Cruiser meet and greet, which is in the Crow's Nest. Met a couple of lovely ladies, and then realised that there was the soda gathering was behind us, and we just made our own. So we all joined up and had a bit of a chat, a bit of a natter. It was a lot of fun. Then splitting off to do our own little things, I decided to, what did I do? What did I do? I just had a bit of a wander, I think, yeah. And a little look around the ship, looked at the shops, looked at all of the different options for things like snacks and stuff for later on. And then I headed to the buffet. No, I didn't go to the buffet. I grabbed a slice of pizza because I thought, even though I wasn't hungry. And there's always time for a slice of mushroom pizza. Delicious. I wanted to try it because, you know, journalistic integrity. I've got to try it so that you don't have to. So I had a bit of a nibble of that, just about half a slice really. It was good. It's not the best pizza I've ever had, but good for fast food pizza. Better than just your average sort of pizza place at home. Then after that, I headed to get a nice seat at the live lounge for the Trawlermen, which was a really good show, actually. The best show I've seen so far on board, and I would love to see them again. And they're going to be playing in the atrium tonight, so I'm really looking forward to that. They basically play like traditional Irish songs and sea shanties, which was really cool. Very much my vibe, even though I didn't necessarily know it was my vibe until today. So they have a Facebook and Instagram, which is just @thetrawlermen, all one word. So if you're interested, check them out on Facebook, on Instagram, YouTube, things like that. And they sell CDs on their website, and I'd really recommend you do, because they are really talented and a really great bunch of guys. So yeah, that's been my day so far. Oh, I did have lunch. I headed to the buffet for lunch because
Here's the small lunch I got, some sausage and some chicken and curry, and a delicious salad, which was really nice with some sort of mandarin.
Afternoon tea booked later on, and it's celebration night, which is their new sort of name for their formal gala night. And with celebration night, the whole jam is that there's a 5-course meal. So I wanted to make sure that if I'm going to have afternoon tea as well, that I really wanted to go light on lunch. So I got there early, so they'd spread out the time. I had a small amount of chicken tikka masala, some sausage, and a salad. So that's it. I didn't have any carbs because, as I said, what carbs? That's right, ladies and gentlemen, evil. But afternoon tea is going to be very carb heavy, so I'm only going to have a little bit. I always feel a bit awkward in restaurants because I eat now a lot less than most people do, especially on a cruise where a lot of people cruise for the unlimited food. And so they often be like, you sure you don't want more? And I'm just like, fine. But it's something I find easier when I'm with other people, because I can just sort of eat nibbles of what they have, and it becomes less stressful. But yeah, hopefully today will go well. I'm going to go in a little while to see some more things. There's an audience with theatre company, so it's a bit of a chat with them about what their lives are like on board, how they prepare for shows, things like that, Q&A, which will be quite interesting. And then after that is 3 o'clock, which is afternoon tea time. I'm really looking forward to trying that. Tea, scones, it's scone, not scone, you're wrong. Tea and scones and cakes and little sandwiches and whatnot. Give that a go, and I'll report back later. Ciao.
Next up was my afternoon tea. I did feel I got a little bit too much for one person, but I suppose most people go in as a 2 or more. I did have a bite of at least everything on the plate, and of course my lovely cup of tea, but I did leave quite a bit, which I felt a bit bad about, but I did enjoy it. Next up, I went to the Crystal Room, which I was in time for a performance to start. The lady who was singing sang songs from the 80s, 90s and modern day, including songs by Lady Gaga, for example, and she sang them in sort of more of a electro swing and jazz way. So it was like cover versions in her own style, which was really good, but the audience seemed a little bit unenergetic. I think this may have been something to do with the demographic.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm getting all fancy, ready for celebration night, as they're calling it. So we have, yes, celebration night. Not gala night anymore, not formal night, it's celebration night. We're celebrating the return to the seas and, yeah, P&O's return. So, yeah, this is my look. I'm wearing a 3-piece suit. Fancy. Yeah, what's going on? So, since we last spoke, I was having a walk around and I met with Jo. Jo was one of the ladies I met at the Solo Cruises coffee morning this morning, and turns out that a lot of the Solo Cruises decided to meet for dinner tonight, so I'm not going to have to eat alone. Woo! So we're all meeting at 7 o'clock outside the Peninsula restaurant, and we're going for dinner together, which is nice. It's a 5-course meal, so hopefully I'll be able to eat it all. Yeah, so I've had a nice shower. I've had a coffee to wake me up. I'm a little bit shaky from all of the coffee because of the earlier incident when the coffee was too milky. I asked for extra strong and now I'm like buzzing. So I've had that, a little glass of wine, and yeah, getting ready. So we're gonna go for dinner at 7 o'clock and then see where the night takes us. Hopefully nowhere too scary. But I imagine it will involve a bottle of wine and potentially the show. I'm booked in for 10:30 with the comedian Steve Terry. Mixed opinions apparently. Some say he's brilliant, some say he's not very funny. We'll see. Hopefully all will go well. I'll let you guys know later. Have a good evening.
After a few drinks in Brodie's, we headed to the Peninsula restaurant for dinner. This was our 5-course meal for gala night, or celebration night as it's now called. And it started off with an amuse-bouche, followed by a course of soup. Now the soup was delicious, but I didn't feel it added too much to the actual menu. However, I did really like the steak tartare here that came with a little bit of a side salad. For the main, I went for the beef, medium rare, and I loved the asparagus on this, it was really tasty. Dessert was an amazing chocolate opera cake, and I absolutely loved every minute of it.
Good morning everyone. It's 6 a.m. and it's time to get up and go exercising. Yeah, don't I look excited? But yes, 6 a.m. on Saturday, so that's July 31st. And yeah, I'm gonna get up and go for my gym and walk around on board before coming back and getting freshened up for breakfast. Today, instead of going to the buffet for breakfast, I booked into the Peninsula restaurant, which does like a table service breakfast. Mainly just wanted to just try it and see the difference and see how it's going. So I know I'm going to be eating at the buffet tomorrow for Disembarkation Day. I'll see you soon.
After finally getting myself out of bed, I went for my normal walk around the deck just to get some exercise in the morning and to get myself waking up and feeling fresh. Today, I was heading to breakfast in the Peninsula restaurant, so I actually had table service breakfast. As you can see from the menu, there's lots of different options here. You have the options from the bakery like croissants, muffins, bagels, toasts, things like that. Lots of different cereals and milks, yogurts of all different types, both fruit yogurts and Greek yogurts, and some healthy options as well. And then on the other side of the menu, you also have the traditional cooked classics. So you could have your bacon, your sausage, your eggs, and things like that. And the great thing about having this breakfast is you didn't need to worry about going around the buffet and asking for little bits. You just sat there, had your cup of tea while they brought everything you needed across to you. And it was really, really nice to have that time and to, I feel, get served in a different way. Food hadn't just been sat there waiting. It was very, very fresh because I was there right for opening. And so I really got a good experience. So after being set up with all of my jams, my coffee and everything like that, I started off with some grapefruit and a yogurt, which is a really nice sort of grapefruit to start with, followed by some lovely delicious nutty granola, which was absolutely to die for. And then my favourite was the avocado toast, which I asked for some scrambled egg on the side. Now this was really good because it actually had quite a kick to the chili, which I love.
So yeah, I went for my breakfast. It was really nice actually. Very quick to sit down, and I had a few different courses. I didn't finish everything, just wanted to try lots of things. But yeah, it was really good, very filling though. So afterwards I went for another walk, in fact quite an epic walk. I walked 10k around deck 18. There was a few people there jogging, which gave me a bit of motivation to continue. And then came back down to the room, got changed, wearing a shirt now, ready for the Solo Cruisers coffee meet at 9:30. So I'm going to head there shortly. On the way there, I'm going to sign up for archery this afternoon because I wanted to do it yesterday, but it got booked up really quick, and they suggested that I come right for early opening today to sign up. So I'm going to do that, then head to the coffee meet. After that, my day is pretty much clear, but I'm sure the girls at the coffee meet will fill that up with lots of things that they want to do as well. But I'm generally wanting today to be relaxed. I'm going to get some photos, but also anything that I've missed that I haven't tried, that I want to try, or that I think I should try for the vlog, I will do. For example, I'm going to try one of the cakes down at the Market Cafe, which are the cakes made by Eric Landlard. So they're the very posh patisserie cakes. And there's some that look really good. I saw some people having them yesterday. They look amazing. One that I really liked the look of was the lemon yuzu tart that had little characters on. It looked very, very cute. But I'm a bit of a beast for salted caramel, so we'll see what happens. I may even convince the ladies to have lots of them so I can just get those pictures. We'll see. So that's one thing I want to do today. What else did I want to do today? I want to have a cocktail. I haven't had one yet because I don't really drink them, but I want to get a sea breeze because that's a really good, if you're like me and you're trying to be healthy on a cruise, a sea breeze is really good because it's simply vodka, cranberry juice and grapefruit juice. So there's very little sugar in it, and we all know sugar is carbs, and sugar and carbs is basically what is not good for you and where the calories are. So a sea breeze is a really good opportunity to have a cocktail and feel like you're joining in without piling on calories or having something super unhealthy. There's just not very much sugar in it at all. Speaking of that, with mixers, always go for cranberry and grapefruit juices because they are sour and tart, so they're not full of sugar. So the myth of you can't have fruit juice if you want to be low sugar, it's not really that applicable to cranberry, especially. Also, if you're a lady, cranberry juice is very, very, very good for you, for your body. So fill your boots with cranberry juice, and if you can add vodka in there and just claim it's healthy, I mean, that's a win-win. So yeah, do that. Tonight is the last night on board, sad face, but had a really good time so far, really good. Tonight is the big show. It's Mr. Tickerton's Clockwork Circus. And the thing about this show, from what we've been told, is that it's a show that was made for Britannia and for P&O. So instead of it being the singers and dancers performing hits from like the 90s and things like that, these are songs written for the show. It's all about circus. It's apparently very Greatest Showman. So I'm really looking forward to it, especially as I didn't really enjoy the comedian last night. I think some people did, there was laughs and everything, but the jokes were very old-fashionedly, very lowbrow. And I don't mean lowbrow as in like I'm too good for it or anything. It's just, they were easy laughs, you know, like when you see a stand-up comedian and it's just one-liner after one-liner after one-liner, but tish. It was very much like that. There wasn't really my sort of humour, but it was still fun. I'm glad I went, and he seemed a lovely guy. Just I wasn't laughing like out loud, which is a shame, but as it's a P&O, aim at a bit of an older demographic, so I think the jokes would have worked better on people who are used to that style of comedy. I think comedy is very era based, like every few years a different style of comedy becomes popular, and comedy shows on the TV now are very different to comedy shows on the TV 10-20 years ago. So yeah, I think a lot of people had fun, and at the end of the day, as long as people have fun, that's what matters. And I did have fun. I'm glad I went. Just it wouldn't be something I'd want to go and see again. So if I was on board Britannia again and the same comedian was here, I'd probably skip it next time. Whereas the Trawler Men from yesterday, I would see them 3 times a day. I really, really enjoyed them. So, and it looks like they're playing again later on today in the atrium, so I'm going to definitely see that. Okay, I'm going to get myself all spruced up. My hair's a bit of a mess from the walk. I'm going to go do that, brush my teeth and head to the coffee meet. Okay, ciao.
Starting off with the solo coffee meet, I had my Americano from Costa because, as we know, I wasn't a big fan of the coffee. But then for lunch, we headed to the main dining room for a lunch. I did actually have 2 starters and 2 desserts and no main course here. As you see, I had the nice radicchio salad and the sweet potato soup, followed up by this Yorkshire cream tart and a delicious chocolate brownie with raspberry sorbet. It was to die for. spent the afternoon just really enjoying walking around the ship, taking in the sights of seeing the sea, but also the land. We were sailing past Cornwall, so it was really nice to see that. And of course, this was the first time I'd actually had any phone connection during the cruise, so I was able to check my emails and things like that. I know a lot of people don't like to check their phones while they're on a cruise, they like to disconnect from it, but I was waiting for some important news about a new job and things like that, so I did like to check in now and again when I could. But after that, I decided to have a little walk around and get myself ready for the evening, because tonight there was going to be a silent disco, and this was something that I'd never done before and was really intrigued by. Dinner tonight consisted of a half avocado, which was quite interesting, and my main course was a steak with chips. I didn't eat many of the chips, but the steak was delicious. My dessert was a nice carrot cake, with the waiter wouldn't stop putting ice cream on top of. And there was a pie as well that one of my table mates had, which looked delicious. Then it was time for the party. This was a silent disco. And you can't end the last evening without a couple of midnight snacks. And then it was morning. I woke up, looked outside, and we docked back into Southampton. Didn't even notice, it was a very smooth sailing in, and I was able to get up on the deck and have a good walk around while everybody else was asleep. I didn't go to the gym this morning, but I did do a lot of walking. It was quite nice to have a look around the port before going and having a simple breakfast. I had a checkout time of 9:30, so I had plenty of time to have breakfast. I met up with the girls, had some more of that lovely granola, and also a bit of a cooked breakfast, only a small amount, just one sausage, some beans, and a poached egg with some mushrooms. I then decided to have one last wander around the ship, taking in the sights, remembering my nice 3 days aboard, and also a bit of people watching, seeing how everybody was handling their disembarking day. Some people love to go to the buffet and have one last big gorge. Some people like to sit in one of the bars and have a coffee. Some just like to get off the ship as soon as they can. Everybody's different, and I love that about a cruise. Now it was time for me to head down to deck 5 to finally disembark the ship. I was able to disembark quite easily because I only had a backpack on me and I just had one small case to pick up in the port. It was sad to say goodbye to the ship. I'd had a really good time and I'd really enjoyed the ship, but I'd be back on Regal Princess, another ship, in just a couple of weeks.
So there we are. Sad to say that is the end of this 3-day cruise. Back in Southampton here at Ocean Terminal, and it's time for me to walk back into town and get ready for my train home. But the good news is, ladies and gentlemen, I will be right back here in Southampton in just under 2 weeks, ready to take another 3-day cruise, this time on Regal Princess.
I hope you all enjoyed this vlog series on the P&O Britannia. Stay tuned. Coming up soon will be a stateroom tour for the interior cabins, but also a great look at the Regal Princess, my next cruise. If you liked what you saw, please do like and subscribe. It really helps make the content. Thanks guys, and see you soon.